actually look forward to it, but we've got our college football expert here. Would another Clemson-Bama national championship game be bad for college football?
I don't know if it would be bad for college football. I don't think it would be great. I do think that interest would maybe wane a little bit, in particular in that game specifically. But let's be fair. I don't want to take away from greatness. Is the Patriots' domination of the NFL taking away from the NFL? I would say no. Dynasties tend to be hated from the outside, and yet we all will watch them. You know, so right now you have to understand there's a couple of things at play here, and it's really the structure of college football. If the NFL is built for 8-8, which I think we would all argue it is, right? The way that the draft works, the way that the scheduling works, the way that the salary cap works, everything is really built for 8-8, and you're either going to excel out of that or you're going to fall below it. Well, in college football, we're built for dynasties. The best teams make the most money, generally. They can hire the most assistant coaches. They can keep the most assistant coaches. They generally get the best prospects in recruiting. Then they can go out there and make their own schedule. And I would argue that Clemson and Alabama, at least in schedule makeup, have created some of the easier roads for themselves. And let me give you an example of that. Michigan is going to play at one point this season 7 consecutive weeks against Power 5 teams or Notre Dame. The most consecutive weeks that Clemson or Alabama is going to play against Power 5 opponents is 3. So the schedule makeup is different for these teams playing 8 conference games than other teams playing 9 conference games. So when you put together the nature of college football, the structure of how we do things, we're built for dynasties. This is actually what should happen when you get the right head coach and the support from the administration in your university, is you should be good for a long time. So I don't want to diminish the accomplishment of those programs by saying it's bad for college football. Do we need another champion at some point? Probably.
For me, I love it. And this is just David and Goliath reconstructed. And if you think about it, in this situation of college football, David is the field. And Goliath is Clemson and Alabama. You got to look at it through that lens. And it had me watching Miami and Florida this weekend, number 8 Florida, to see when is David going to actually rise up and could beat Goliath, Clemson or Alabama.
Didn't seem like it in that game, did it?
It didn't seem like it in that game, but I will watch this weekend as well, just rooting for that other team. These are moments that we've had in our lives where we loved it. Let's go through our favorite era, at least mine, of basketball and NBA. Was the 80s and Lakers and Celtics. And we talk about 3 head-to-head matchups. Every game you watched, you knew at the end it was going to be Boston or the Lakers.
Sure.
And we loved it. Ben Johnson versus Carl Lewis. Yeah, I watched the prelims, the semifinals, but damn it, I want to see Carl Lewis race Ben Johnson.
Sure.
That's all it was. I remember a few years ago, everyone disappointed. Man, we never got to see Kobe go against LeBron. Because we like this. When we can go out there as advertised, greatness is going to be exampled on the field, and then we see them collide at the end. I'm all in for it.
And I think, and Joel, help me if I'm wrong here, the production staff, Tua and Trevor Lawrence have a chance to be back-to-back number 1 picks at the quarterback position.
Yeah,
in the
Tua
NFL.
after this year, and then Trevor would have to stay one more year.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so when have we ever seen the best 2 quarterbacks in all of college football clash for the national championship? The 2 clearly best players in college football potentially could meet at the quarterback position. This would be like, this year in particular, this would be like, nah, you know what? I really don't want to see Brady and Manning in their prime play each other in the Super Bowl or in the AFC Championship game. I damn sure want to see Tua and Trevor Lawrence clash this year with Tua fully recovered from whatever injuries he had. Trevor Lawrence potentially going to be one of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever seen in college football. This year, more than any other year, I want to see Clemson and Alabama.
I mean, I think maybe for a national championship, off the top of my head, maybe it was Matt Leinart against Vince Young.
Yep, different level, but yes.
Top 10 picks in the same draft,
Right.
so it wasn't back-to-back years like you're talking about, but just that level, right?
Yeah.
Like great quarterback play facing off against each other. There's certainly that. And remember now, college football is more about the head coach than it is the quarterback. So in the NFL, we talk about your organization is going to go how your quarterback goes. You got to have that guy. Well, in college football, you've got to have the head coach. These 2 guys are the best 2 doing it.
Right.
So even more maybe than Tua Trevor, which I love the point. I think it's a very astute point. You also have those 2 guys on the screen, Dabo against Nick Saban. I love that. You know, I love these juggernauts going up against each other. But to your point, we need somebody else to rise up. Georgia is close. They've had the lead against Bama twice in the last 2 years in the fourth quarter, one in the national championship game, one in the SEC championship game. Maybe Texas is that team with Tom Herman that can potentially rise up and challenge one of these two teams. I'm looking for that challenger. I think that would make the sport even better, is if we got another hat into that ring.
Darnell, you got a problem with Bama Clemson?
Not at all. I mean, I want to see the two best teams face off. And Klatt, I think the challenger you're looking for might be Ball State. So,
is that it?
Stay
Is that
tuned.
it?
Y'all better beat Columbia first.
We got IU coming up with the Lucas Oil Stadium, so stay tuned to that.
Y'all can't beat us.
Listen, I study a lot of college football. I got to be honest, I don't know Ball State's schedule.
All right, guys.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. And be sure to check out more of the best clips from Speak for Yourself, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.